Fame of Eric Dickerson.
What's up, everybody? I'm Matt Leinart, 2004 Heisman Trophy winner.
Hey, I'm Zane Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Matt Barry from ESPN. You're getting ready to watch one of the best college football podcasts ever. It's the Harris Highlight Show.
You're watching the Harris Highlight Show.
And you're watching the Harris Highlight Show.
And you're listening to the Harris Highlight Show. Enjoy it.
Na 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 na.
Coming to you live from the Chateau in beautiful Monrovia, California. This is the Harris Highlight Show. Joining me this week is our college football.
Just me.
Football.
Hang on. Can you see me?
Yes.
All right. It just shows I'm a green square on mine. So
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna exit out. I'll be right back.
All right, while Brady goes, Lyle's nowhere to be found. This is now the Harris Highlights, Schaefer Highlights Award show, or just show, at Josh Schaefer 25. How are we doing today?
Well, as you guys can see, I'm wearing my Ottawa Senators helmet, not USC Trojans helmet tonight, because ASU alum Joey Decord is in net for the Ottawa Senators tonight. So I've got that game on. I am also an Ottawa Senators fan now. So go Sens, but also we've got a phenomenal show going on tonight, and I'm excited for it.
We do have a phenomenal show. I'm not exactly certain what's going on in regards to our other two members of the show, but that's all right. We got Brady back. Lyle's still nowhere to be found. Brady looks confused. Welcome, everyone, to this show. It's going to be a fun one. Now, if you're watching right now, you'll see the title says, Who is the greatest fictional offense in college football history? So if you follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, you've been interacting in the comment section so far. A lot of people think the show is going to be going a certain direction, but
I don't think they're right.
we like to pull surprises out to make shows unique and interesting. We've done, I think, shows like that in the past. We're drafting or we're given an entire roster. We're having a draft where we're drafting, I think, the greatest players in college football history. Tonight, we are going to be assembling. The four of us each have spent hours and hours in the research lab, conducting just hours and hours of research, taking notes to give you guys the greatest fictional offense in college football history. Now, I know what you're thinking. Greatest fictional offense in college football history. We're going to be taking college football players left and right, compiling them into an amazing offense. But you are wrong. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be compiling an offense that is going to go out to the field, compete in a college football game, but is going to be featuring fictional characters, made-up characters. Now, this could be from movies, TV shows, myths, urban legends, anything non-college football related. So for everyone that's in the comment section right now that's having a good time in the live chat, rework those comments that you were getting on earlier, because these are going to be non-college football players. We've lost Brady. Josh, this is the Harris Highlights Schaefer Highlights Award show. I don't know why I keep saying award show.
Yeah, it's just the show. Just show.
So essentially what we did is, Brady, we made an offense with 11 different members. We sent it to Brady. He has the graphic. We're going to go one by one. We're going to show you guys the offense we've compiled of all these fictional characters. Next week, we're going to be doing defense. And then after that, we're going to put the two together and whatnot. You guys are going to get a chance to vote for who you think has the best overall offense. Once we're done going over our four, you guys can go to our Twitter at the @HHShow_. Brady's going to post it immediately once we are done doing that. So if you'd like to vote for who had the best, go over to the Twitter, give us a follow at the HHShow_. And plus, that way when we do a Q&A later in the show, you guys get top priority when it comes to asking a question, because we get like 100+ questions each week. We can only answer a select few, but if you ask us on Twitter, you guys are not guaranteed to have it asked, but 99%. There's nothing's a guarantee. I mean, as you can see, we don't have Brady or Lyle on the show. Let's try adding Brady to the stream, who's now on his phone. Brady, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me? And I can see you, which is even better.
That's huge.
Yeah, so before, Blake was a green square, and I was a green square, and Josh was just a square.
Well, I'm perfect, so.
Well,
Yeah, Brady just sent a photo to our group chat. That is odd, Brady. That is odd. So I guess Lyle's still trying to figure something out. But again, these are going to be the offenses we compiled featuring fictional characters, and we're just essentially Brady's going to throw the image on the screen one by one. We're going to explain who we have at what position, why we picked him, why this is going to be the greatest team ever assembled. And again, you guys in the comments, you guys don't have to necessarily give your 11, but if you want to write down who you have at quarterback, who you have at running back, or if you want to put all 11, you can go for it. Brady, are you able to get the images loaded?
not yet. I'm on my phone. I'm running the images on my computer, so I just had to restart it. So give me 1 second. Let's just discuss how life is for everybody at this
Well,
point.
why don't I do a magic trick, guys?
There we go.
Whoa!
Wow.
How'd you do that?
Snap of a finger.
Ready? It's fantastic, isn't
And
it?
we're back.
Wow.
There you go. It's all in the power. And the funny thing is, it's not just with Lyle. I mean, I could do it with whoever I want.
That's impressive.
There you go.
It's really impressive. Yeah,
All right.
I think we're seeing a lot of people put in who they would have at certain positions. I'm not. I like this one too, but I'm starting to think that some people still aren't really grasping the idea of what we've got here, Blake.
I think they'll grasp the idea once they see some of these teams. At least when I sent it to Brady, like I don't know what your guys' are yet, but when I sent it to Brady earlier this week, he was like, "Yeah, all these are like pretty good," meaning like pretty off the charts.
I will say, can you guys hear and see me now? I can hear and see all of you. I'm back on the computer. There you go. I will say, because I was one I've seen everybody's team. These are good. Like all these are really good.
I just want to confirm based on this Cheeseburger Eddie. That's Terry Crews, right, in The Longest Yard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check, which is he's the best part of the movie. All needs the Mean Machine NFL MVP Paul Crewe, a quarterback. Paul Crewe. And then Mud Dogs legend Bobby Boucher is a blocking tight end. In short run, says Blake, can you make yourself disappear?
Oh. No, he can't, but I can.
Oh, no.
Welcome back, Blake.
All right, guys. So let's get to the fun. Brady, if you're able to, let's get these bad boys underway. So again, these are the greatest fictional offenses of all time that we've compiled. Once we go through all four, you guys can go follow us on Twitter at the HH_. You guys can vote for who you think had the best. And so Josh, why don't you take yours away?
Also, get rid of that lower third.
Wait, I can't see anything. It's just a white screen.
It's not up yet.
Oh.
Great.
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this thing, huh? This is my fictional offense. So we're gonna start. Let's just start right in the middle at quarterback. Need somebody with a good arm and good leadership capabilities, and that right off the bat is Captain America. You know, he's just a born natural leader. He's been alive for forever and stuff. I mean, look at the guy; he looks fantastic, and he's in great shape. He's built, and he can throw that shield anywhere he wants, and it's super good arm. He's my quarterback. Drift out to the running back spot. Got Lightning McQueen here, guys. I mean, how could you not? Look, first of all, fumbles, not happening. You just toss the ball through the window, and he's a friggin' race car. You can just gas it up to like triple digits and then go straight up the middle. This is easy. This is an easy choice for me. Let's go up to the offensive line. This is where I was really excited about the offensive line. Gotta have Gloria in here at left tackle. Gloria from Madagascar. She's just she just knows who she is, and I've always admired that about her. She's also brings in, the comedic effect. She's a good locker room person, and she's just a really good addition to the team, I feel like. And she's also a little more athletic than maybe some other people that we've got on the line. So you got to keep her mobile, open up some gaps for the running backs, good pressure on Captain America's blind side. So that's really important. Jabba the Hutt's my left guard. The dude's massive. And look, the only way you can get rid of this guy is by choking him while wearing a bikini. And what other team is going to do that? None of them. So, I mean, that's hands to the face if you're trying to choke somebody. So Jabba the Hutt, I think he's actually a lot faster than some people think. I think that I think he can actually be a little more maneuverable. So, there's that. Short Round comes in and says, I don't like Lightning at running back. The straight line speed is clearly there, but I don't know if the agility is there. It isn't a clear hole to bounce it outside. Look, so
it's a road course car. It's left and right.
Yeah, it's left and right, but also if you saw the first Cars movie, you turn right to go left, and he basically worked on that whole scheme with Doc Hudson on trying to drift and be more agile. So it was a really big progression thing for Lightning through training camp, but he earned his spot as our starting running back. Peter Griffin at center. If we go back to the O-line, this is an easy one. He was on the Patriots for 22 minutes, literally, because that's how long an episode is.
And the London Silly Nannies. He was their best player, and I feel like that's just a really reasonable pick. He was also really good. He blocked for Tom Brady, and if he had played a full season, he likely would have won the Super Bowl that year. Hagrid at right guard. We need somebody who's also going to be a locker room guy. Hagrid brings in that he just really brings in who can I describe him as? Like a Whitworth type guy. I just really feel like he's that type of player. And then you round out the O-line with Sully at right tackle. I mean, this is it's just another good choice right here for Sully to hop in there. He's very menacing on the outside, but he's actually a teddy bear if you get to know him. But the other teams won't get to know him like that. Kronk comes in at my tight end. This is another obvious choice. I mean, it rhymes with Gronk. So, he's kind of an airhead.
Obviously they both have the same amount of brain cells.
Yeah, he's quite literally Gronkowski. That's the thing. So, I took somebody who was not in a football movie, is not a football player, who is literally just a football player in a different setting. So, So Kronk comes in there. If we come over here and we look at the wide receivers, we go out to my wide receiver 1 on the far left side. We've got Danny Phantom. Here's why Danny Phantom checks in here as my wide receiver 1. He can switch on and off between ghost mode and like human mode. And when he's in ghost mode, he is quite literally unguardable. He flies through you. Like he goes through you. He is literally unguardable. So I don't know what else. The one thing here is, like, if you look up his height, he's only like 5'10". I would prefer a little bit more size for Danny Phantom, but I just think his abilities are that good. Also, as a ghost, he can also possess people, so he's great in possession. So once you get the ball in his hands, he's really good with the ball. Slide on over to the right side of your screen now. We've got Harry Potter. Here's another one that seems to fly under the radar a little bit. Sergey Crow says, what is Harry doing with that broom? I'll tell you what he's doing with that broom. He's riding that broom. And what's he going to do people forget. He was a first-year seeker on the Gryffindor Quidditch team. That's never happened before, right? That has never happened before. And you know what he did? He caught the snitch in his mouth while riding that broom. He's got great speed. He's got great agility. He can take bumps like left and right. All those Slytherin guys were bumping him, and he was like, "Get off me, man!" And then he went and caught that snitch, and he was really good. I mean, he literally went down as not only one of the best seekers, but one of the best overall Quidditch players in Hogwarts history. He was a Gryffindor player for what, like 6 years or whatever it was? I don't think he played all 7, because the 7th year was when all that Voldemort crap was going on. So I don't think he played all 7 years, but technically he still has another year of eligibility. So Harry's going to come in he's going to be on our team. Great speed, great hands. He's got that broom. So that's what we're talking about. Yoshi is coming in as my slot wide receiver. And here's one that I think his height, as Yoda once said, size matters not. And that's what comes in with Yoshi. It can be a little bit confusing because you look at him and you think he's small. Look it up. Dude's like 5'10". Pretty sure the dude's like 5'10". I looked it up. So Yoshi, he's got the tongue. He can grab anything out of the air. And then also, if you've played any of those like Super Mario Brothers like sports video games, as Lyle knows, Yoshi is a solid contact hitter in baseball. He's got unreal speed. He's like a go-to center fielder if you're playing baseball. He's got the great speed. He's got great hands. He's just your perfect Cooper Kupp type guy. Kind of run maybe an underneath route, catch the ball and take off. Or you can have your two, maybe your X and Y receivers or something like that. You can have them kind of cross in the middle or like be as decoys and just have Yoshi just run a seam route up the sidelines. So that's why I really think that Yoshi's probably the most versatile player on the offense. And then to round it all out, you need a really good coaching staff. So my head coach is Gandalf the Grey. I know Blake last week said he did not like Lord of the Rings, but I think it's hard to argue against the true leadership capabilities and the wisdom and the innovation that Gandalf has stored up in his old brain of his. Seemingly never ages between the Hobbit movies, which are supposed to be like however many years before Lord of the Rings. He looks fantastic. So he's kind of like Belichick, where he just seems like he's continuously getting better. He's it's just he's a tough guy to beat. He always seems to figure out a way to win in the end. And even when it seems like he's down and out and he fell down that giant hole or whatever it was, look who comes crawling back at the very end. It's Gandalf the Grey. One of the most iconic characters in fiction. He's my head coach. And then this was a little fun one that Brady put in I didn't even know about. Offensive coordinator here is John Schaefer. And for those who don't know, I'd say about twice a year at Arizona State, when I would get my game day credential, it would say John Schaefer on it, spelled like that. Don't know why, but it was. And any credential that I had that was like a game day credential, if I had like season passes that had my name right, my position, whatever, who I worked for, game day passes frequently got John Schaefer. But John Schaefer, kind of modeled a little bit between like a Jim Harbaugh, Lane Kiffin type guy. I like to think that he's probably most like a Lincoln Riley. I mean, look at him. He kind of looks like Lincoln Riley.
Right.
The way that he's dressed. So yeah, I think that he's the good innovative mind to lead an offense down the field paired with head coach Gandalf. So that's my offense. Does anybody have any questions?
I got to say this really quickly is when you put Danny Phantom, I had a thought in my mind and you didn't even say it. If you listen to the theme song, it literally says gonna catch them all because he's Danny Phantom. So having him as a wide receiver just makes complete sense.
Yeah, there's a lot that went into Danny Phantom as my wide receiver one. There were a few other people that I kind of considered for a while. I think I had 3 or 4 different people slotted in as my wide receiver one. Harry Potter was always a 2. I actually had Stitch from Lilo and Stitch in it my wide receiver 3. Kind of a smaller guy underneath route, kind of like that same Cooper Kupp type deal. Maybe a deep route. He's really fast. Also, he can grow an extra arm. So really good hands, but maybe he'll make an appearance on my defense. We're not sure yet, but Danny Phantom's, I that was just the clear cut guy, best overall player to kind of come in and unguard. I mean, he's basically like Devontae Adams, but better because he's a ghost and you literally cannot guard him.
Well, so I'm guessing he's just going to stay in ghost form the whole time then, because you said he can change into 2 different forms, but I don't really know what middle school Danny Phantom does for this team.
Right.
But...
Little 14-year-old Danny Phantom.
Well, no. So basically you just trot out onto the field in like your little human form or whatever. And you get out there and you like line up the line. You check like, ref, am I onside? And he says, yeah, I am. And you say, hey, thanks, buddy. And then you like look over at the offensive line. You like wait for the ball snapped. You can do a little trash talk back and forth. Like, hey, what's up, cornerback? You think you're going to guard me? Man, it'd be a real shame if I was a ghost. Gone. Look at that. Gone. And then he's down, and then he catches it, turns back into human form, catches it in the end zone. Nobody's guarding him. No one's within 15 yards of Danny Phantom. 20 yards within Danny Phantom, within range of Danny Phantom. So, yeah, I think he's my best all-around player, like Devontae Adams times 12 and better.
Yeah, before we get to Lyles, I'll just say my personal favorite is Lightning McQueen at running back because he's literally going to kill people out there.
Yeah.
If he goes, full speed, he'll kill.
Yeah, his break tackle rating in Madden is 100 or 99. I think that's as high as it can go.
It's as high as it can go, but there's been 100 rating someone before in Madden.
Yeah.
Devin Hester got 100 speed rating once.
That's a good team, Josh. A lot of people were having fun in the comments with it. A lot of people liked it. So well done. Now, again, after we show all 4 of these, you guys can go over to Twitter at the HHShow_. You guys can vote for who you think has the best offense. And I know someone commented it right here, Jaden, how a fictional defense wins championships. Defense is going to be coming next week. So if you want to see who has the best defense, stay tuned for that next week. But up next, we're going to take a look at Lyle's team. We're going to see what kind of team Lyle was able to compile. So while Brady gets that up, and here we go. We have it right here. So, Lyle, let's hear what you got to say.
Look, I'm trying to score points. So you need a connection. Quarterback-receiver connection is so vital. So where do I start other than Mr. Incredible and Dash? So Mr. Incredible at quarterback. Dash is my wide receiver. If you've seen The Incredibles, you know there's a scene where Mr. Incredible chucks a football, 500 yards, and Dash just sprints and catches it in like half a second. So I need those guys paired together. So there's my quarterback receiver. He's paired with the Flash. I don't really know how you prepare to stop Dash and the Flash. Like, people try to stop Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman. That doesn't really seem to work very often. This is like that, but on steroids. So Dash and the Flash catching passes from Mr. Incredible. But with that, you need a security blanket receiver. You can't just have all speed, all go route type guys. That's why Deacon Moss is on this team. Allenville prison legend Deacon Moss, who, I mean, yeah, maybe he calls a bunch of soft fouls in one-on-one basketball, but when you get him on the gridiron, I mean, he's a go-to guy. He's a number one receiver. He's paired up with the Purple Monstar, and I believe he took the powers of Patrick Ewing in the movie Space Jam. So I'm trying to get the best talent out on the field. Purple Monstar, I thought of the 5 Monstars, was the most elite. Liked what he brought to the table. So he's out at tight end. Thanos is at running back. My biggest question for whoever's going to be bringing out a defense is how you stop a guy who can snap his fingers and literally wash you away. Or, you know, take the Power Stone and like destroy a planet by just like clenching his fist and like bringing it to the ground. So this is you got to mix of power and speed with your core skill players. But obviously, you need a line to protect them. That's why you got the Incredible Hulk and Darth Vader as your tackles. Darth Vader, I mean, nobody's going to touch that guy. He just keeps everybody away by using the Force. The Hulk will literally smash anybody into the ground. Magneto from X-Men can literally move metal. So, I mean, I don't know how you stop a guy that moves metal either. Mewtwo at center. I mean, I was trying to make this thing diverse. Like, I didn't want to take the whole MCU. I'm trying to get pieces of everything. Mewtwo, arguably the most powerful Pokemon in the business. Get him at center. Just kind of the core of the offensive line that brings everything together. But my personal favorite, sometimes left guard can get overlooked. The ancient legend Cthulhu. For those who don't watch South Park, Cthulhu is a ancient monster who was released because the DP Oil Company drilled too far into the ocean. And as a result, he was released and basically caused havoc on the entire world and then teamed up with Cartman. But this dude, I think, is about 200, 300 feet tall and just answers to nobody. So I have to stack up my O-line to give time to my skill guys and my position players, and that's what I did. I invested in the trenches while trying to build out my outside skill players as well. And in fact, Brady even said when I sent my team to him, he was like, you know what? I like that offensive line. That offensive line is going to do some damage. But then, you know, as you guys can probably see, there's some personalities on this team, to say the least, from a guy that's in prison to a guy that rules all of space to a guy that literally is told to smash. You need somebody that can like keep them in line. You need somebody to keep them in line. Who better to do that than Coach Taylor? I mean, Coach Taylor, one of the greatest high school coaches ever. If he can do it with a bunch of high school kids that he turned into a bunch of state champs, I've got faith in him to do it with a bunch of fictional characters as well. So that's why Coach Taylor's running the show and keeping all these guys in line. So I'm pretty confident with my team, and like Josh, I'll take any questions you guys have.
I like Thanos at running back because, like you said, the fact that he can literally just end humanity with the snap of his finger, that's going to be tough. And plus, we've seen that he's literally unstoppable. So give him the rock.
He's inevitable.
Yeah, he's inevitable. I don't think he's going to have any fumbles in your game, to say the least. So Thanos a running back. I like it a lot. I'm also I'm going to say there are a few on here that I also have on mine. So Lyle and I are pretty smart when it comes to picking some of these positions.
I'm going to say this too is we've seen Mr. Incredible run around in some of the Incredibles movies too. I mean, he's a dual threat quarterback, Lyle.
That's true. That's true. He is. He can run.
I'm also just thinking right now of, Mr. Incredible snapping the ball, and all of a sudden Vader just starts. everyone on defense is starting to pass now. So I like that one too.
So I have a question though. What if for example you've got Darth Vader at your left tackle position, and then what if one of the other defensive ends is like, I don't know, like Padme Amidala, and then like suddenly Darth Vader's like, oh no, that's my wife. What am I supposed to do?
I mean,
choke her out?
Then you can just run a stunt. Yeah, or I guess that's for defense. But then Cthulhu slides over. A pull. Thank you.
Pulling guard.
Yeah, exactly. Cthulhu slides over, and I mean, he doesn't care about Padme Amidala, so
yeah.
You can adjust it.
All right,
that makes sense.
Fair question, Josh. Now, same question. What if Hulkbuster lines up across from Hulk? What are you gonna do there?
If Hulk lines up from Hulk?
No, Hulkbuster. You know.
Oh. Well then,
Tony Stark over there.
True. You can slide Magneto over. Again, another guy that doesn't really seem to care about the MCU.
And he can move metal. All right, there you go.
And he can move metal. So yeah, that's true. I don't know. That's why I had to balance it all out. You can't just have everybody from the MCU or what. You need diverse people to man your team. You got to bring all these guys together.
As Josh said about his team, you know, or what Yoda said about Josh's team, that size really doesn't matter. Where Lyle's, you know, shortest guy, yeah, it's Dash, but everyone else behind him is like, you know, 6'11" to 300 feet tall.
That's what MJ says too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Blake. I do have one more question. So what if, like, let's say that on my defense or on Brady's defense or on Blake's defense, we line up a D line that has Darth Vader on at left end, and then you've got Hulk at right end. Then what happens?
I guess that's gonna be like I guess that's gonna be like the scene in episode 3 when Anakin and Obi-Wan are battling, and there's the part where they're both like using the Force and shoving it at each other, and just nobody's moving. I feel like that's what's gonna happen with Darth Vader and Darth Vader together. Just nobody's gonna be moving. Everybody's just gonna stand still.
Lyle's logic is flawless.
That's a good point.
So that's Lyle's team again. We're halfway there. So once we're done with these 4, you guys can go to Twitter at the HH_. Vote for your favorite offense. Vote for you think who is the most unstoppable offense. If you need a team to score 100, vote for who you think is going to score 100. Score 100 first. So Brady, it's time we get to your team.
So really quickly, Blake, you said, I think you said in the tweet, you know, it's all fictional people. I bent that rule a little bit.
Oh,
hey, I did too in mine.
Disqualified.
Just a little bit. So I've got myself, you know, where do you want to start for this? Like, where should I start?
Children watching.
I'm just going to start at quarterback position. You know, if there's a guy who is young, who is athletic, who is able to handle the pressure, and if he needs to throw an underhand ball, if needs to be like Patrick Mahomes can out there, it's going to be Henry Raisinbagel. Gardenhoser. What's his last name?
Rowan Gardner.
Henry Rowan Gardner. Or is the
sorry, Gardenhoser. Rackaboozer.
Yeah, Raisin Bagel. Yeah, you know. Come on, it was the joke.
I got it.
You know, so Henry Rowan, I mean, you just crank up that elbow and he's going to launch it. I mean, he threw it from center field at Wrigley all the way back to home plate. So, you know, that's like a few, you know, like 400 something feet. So he's definitely got the arm. I pulled the backup quarterback in there too, you know, in case something happens to Raisin Bagel or Runamucker, whatever his name is. Alex Moran, an obvious choice for backup quarterback, one of the greatest backup quarterbacks ever. Legendary backup quarterback. At running back, you know, I sort of pulled with the speed thing, but I didn't go with a car. I didn't go with someone Thanos' size. I went with Dash Parr, and, you know, the son of Mr. Incredible. So he's going to be one of those guys where he can, you know, get the ball, hit the corner, and he's gone. Let's take it out to my receivers. Mason actually proposed this to me. He said Tony the Tiger, and I was like, oh, that's great. But I didn't say it like that, and I didn't say it like the cereal. I was like, oh, good idea. So Tony the Tiger as a receiver, I think he's like 6'11", just a big dude. You know, he's able to go. He's always athletic, and is one of those guys that, you know, it just makes everybody around him better. So Tony the Tiger is my outside receiver on the left side. On the right side, quite literally, I have Megatron. You know, Josh went with Kronk as his tight end. I went with Megatron as my receiver because, you know, if I can't have Calvin Johnson, I'm going to do the next best thing and get, you know, actual Megatron. At my tight end, I said I had a little loophole here. I picked LeBron James, not the basketball player, but the actor from the movie Trainwreck with Bill Hader and Amy Poehler because, you know, it is LeBron James, but it's also not LeBron James, but it's LeBron James. My slot receiver, one of the greatest video game athletes of all time, one of the greatest athletes of all time, one of the most underappreciated athletes of all time. That is the legend that is Pablo Sanchez from backyard baseball, backyard football. You know, he's always the number one pick you're going to have on your team. He's always the fastest. He's always the best. You know, I think it's like 5 stars on every single thing except for one, which was height. But, you know, Tyreek Hill's not that tall. You get a lot of these great slot guys who are great there and, you know, great hands, great speed. So Pablo Sanchez is going to be an elite slot receiver there. My offensive line, I had to go Thanos. So I think it just makes sense. I don't like him at a running back position. Sorry, Lyle. I think he's more of a a left tackle kind of guy. Turley from the longest yard. I mean, how are you going to stop Great Khali? I mean, you saw what he did to those guards in the prison game. So definitely going to be a good guy up front. Peter Griffin, Josh gave the reasoning, and I made my team before he even sent me his. And, Peter Griffin was just the obvious answer there. He played center for the Patriots. My right guard, I had to do this, Blake. I'm sorry, but it just made too much sense. I think having our great host, a real person, Blake Harris, be my right guard. I've seen him run around a tennis court shirtless, which is what that.
Okay, so that's what that's from. Because I was like, at what point?
It was from the tennis match. So it was you running around shirtless at a tennis match. Blake, I feel like you're going to be an elite right guard. But
no one's getting to you, Brady. No one's getting to you.
No one's getting to Henry Rowan Gardner.
Henry Rowan Gardner.
But I think one of those things where if Blake isn't able to handle all the pressure from inside, you got William Howard Taft as your right tackle. The fattest president. He was like 5'11", 320 something pounds. So just having the beast that was William Howard Taft at my right tackle, and of course I had to go my head coach Adam Schefter. I feel like he'll know everything that's going to happen a play before it even happens. So I feel like Adam Schefter is just the perfect guy to run this great team consisting of all of these illustrious people. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Incredible.
Love the Pablo Sanchez pick. I mean, he really is the most underrated athlete of all time.
Absolutely.
Like when I played backyard baseball, I always had Sammy Sosa and Griffey and Bonds, but I always had Pablo Sanchez. Like that was my first pick.
It's your first pick. It doesn't matter if they're the actual pro guys. You always go Pablo Sanchez.
Yeah. My only question is, once you see the performance of LeBron in Space Jam 2, does he have a chance to overtake Trainwreck LeBron?
Hey, LeBron was great in Trainwreck, man.
LeBron was great in Trainwreck, but I will put him, it hasn't come out yet. So I that's why I didn't put him at Space Jam 2. But once I see his performance, I'd consider changing that from the actor from Trainwreck to the actor from Space Jam 2. Good call, Lyle. I like that.
So what do we think about Tony the Tiger's hands? I mean, obviously he's playing sports in a lot of the commercials, and he's clearly got the hops. Is maybe better hind legs than front legs an issue?
No, I think the hind legs, gets him that speed, and he propels himself with the front. I mean, look at that. He's doing that. He's number one. He's great. So, we've seen him play sports in the commercials. I think it's I think he's going to be a good asset to the team.
So,
Who do you think emerges as the true leader of this offense? Would it be the dude from Trainwreck, or maybe Megatron, or the president? It just seems like there's a lot of competing leadership qualities on the team. What do you think about that?
Especially with a young quarterback with Henry Runnemucker, I think it's one of those guys.
Rosenbagen.
Rosenbagger. Yeah, Rosenbagger. I think you need a guy who has leadership experience. And so that's why I'm going to go William Howard Taft as the guy who's going to step up. But I feel like if he tries to step up too quickly, something bad could happen because he was very obese. And he got stuck in a bathtub.
I was going to say.
The fact that Blake's my skinniest offensive lineman is like slightly unsettling.
Yeah.
So the smallest.
No one's getting past that right side.
No one's getting past that right side. I will say Turley doesn't say much. He's a quiet leader. I don't think he says a word in the whole movie. So
no, he says some words, I think.
He says, I think he broke his freaking neck. I think that's about it.
No, that's Witowski, right? That's Bob Sapp.
Oh, yeah.
Turley's the one that's like laughing when he breaks Bob Sapp's nose. He just says, I broke my nose.
I broke my nose.
Yeah.
I will say this. So I actually have two people from the longest yard on my team. Adam Schefter was actually in longest yard. He was sitting in the press box next to Peter King.
And don't forget about
hidden gem there.
Don't forget about Chris Berman as well.
Berman calling the game, yeah. So
there's Brady's team. Again, we got one more to get to. Then you guys can go over to Twitter, vote at the HH_. You guys can also let us know who you think. Just like why you voted for them, why you're going that direction. If Blake Harris up there in the trenches is the reason you're voting for Brady's team, leave us a reply and let us know. So Brady, I think we got one more to get to. And then we'll open it up to the votes and then get to our Q&A. And here we go. We got my team right here. Allow me to reintroduce everyone over there on the site. All right. I don't even know where to begin with mine, guys. Also, is it just me or does the quality on this photo look the worst out of all four? or maybe it's just my my photo, because whatever reason, oh, there it goes. It's a lot better. Let's see, where do I start? Why don't I start in the trenches where it has to get done? That's with the offensive line. Michael Orr, if you saw The Blind Side, you knew that guy loved his teammates more than anyone, and he would not let anyone get to his quarterback. And I thought my offensive line is just so good overall. I had to make it somewhat, reasonable for the opposing defenses. Up next to him, we got the Terminator. I mean, this guy is literally a robot. He is a machine, and he will kill you. He has no problem killing you. He'll have the little, red beam in his eye, and he will take you down. At center, you got Godzilla. No, you're not getting past Godzilla. First off, his size. Good luck getting past that. 2, when he starts breathing fire on you, I don't know exactly what you plan to do aside from die. Lyle pretty much said everything that needs to be said in regards to the Hulk, because, I mean, come on, all he has to do is literally smash you, and he kills you. So enough said. And then got King Kong. King Kong actually is going to be in a movie going against Godzilla in the coming weeks. So another guy that's going to be on my front. Good luck getting past him. Unless you're a blonde woman, then he's just going to completely just dip out and leave the stadium with you. But I don't think that's going to happen unless one of you guys tries to pull that against me next week to get Kong out there. So right there, offensive line, no worries there. You're not getting to me. But even if you somehow do get to me, we got Uncle Rico taking snaps. He could throw a pigskin, over a mountain. If coach would have put him in, they would have won states. This is the guy I want behind center. I want him just leading my team to victory like he would have led his high school team to victory many, many, many years ago. The greatest quarterback to ever walk the face of the earth, many think, but we never got to see the chance because the coach, he never put him in. At running back, we got Bane. I mean, this is a guy that took down Batman, broke his back with ease, and he's an absolute tank. Again, the holes that are going to open up between this offensive line, Bane is just going to run right through. If you guys watched The Dark Knight Rises, you would know that this guy is in better shape than Lyle. Not by much, but he is slightly in a little better shape than Lyle, and this guy's an absolute tank. Good luck trying to tear him down. Now, guys, I did go with a non-fictional player in regards to this on my, I guess Michael Orr technically too, but this is a bit from the Blind Side movie. And that's 4-time Pro Bowler Ron Wolfley. I got him as my fullback. He's should be in the Hall of Fame, but he is a Hall of Fame fullback to me. Spent time in beautiful West Virginia. Spent time with the Arizona Cardinals. Spent time mentoring a young whippersnapper named Bibby. And I got to have him here as my fullback. And then we go to the wide receivers here right now. We're going to start on the right side with the Flash. He's literally the Flash.
I told you, Bibby.
He's literally the Flash. There's no one's going to catch him. Like, Uncle Rico just has to throw it 3, 4, 5 yards. He's going to take off. No one's going to take him down. So they got the Flash on the outside. We go over to the other outside. We got Quicksilver and Dash. Again, 2 guys that just have blazing hot speed. It's going to be tough to take him down because that's what I was looking for here. I was looking for speed on the outside. I don't need great hands. I don't need, any football abilities other than speed. I just want them to catch the ball and then run. I might have to hand it off to them if need be, if they're unable to catch. But their speed, no one's going to take them down. And then when you have a team like this that's full of just amazing, amazing talents, you got to have a coaching staff. You got to have the right coaching staff. You got to have the coaching staff that's going to get you guys to the next level. That's going to be a voice and a presence in that locker room that's going to help keep these guys in check. And that's the Channel 4 News team led by head coach Ron Burgundy. A great coaching staff. He's the head coach, but he has 3 assistant coaches. No real roles, no offensive coordinator, no defensive coordinator. They're just 3 assistant coaches that are there to help out. We got the Sex Panther, we got Whammy, and we got a guy with a hand grenade. So that's all I got to say about that coaching staff. So guys, there's Blake's team, and I'm opening the floor to comments.
I have one quick question. Given the movie, like you mentioned, Godzilla versus King Kong, what do you think about maybe competing egos and issues between the two of them on the offensive line?
They've put their differences aside because they want to win. When I got him here, they said, listen, I could have gone to another team and I could have been the star. I could have gotten more money, but I wanted a chance to win my first ring. So they put those differences aside and they said, you know what, we're not going to battle out to see who's the best, offensive lineman. We just want to pull dubs. We want to bring championships to Blake's team. So it was very, honestly, when the coaching staff, when Ron came up to me and told me this, I said, son of a nutcracker. I said, get the children. Are the children?
They're coming to the back door.
Exactly. So great question, but they got no beef between the two as of right now. But come March 15th on HBO Max, it's a different story.
Yeah, Brady Klein, Cronkite News. The last time Bane was in a football stadium, it collapsed. How do you feel that will that'll work when you put him in your backfield?
He's going to collapse the defense. That's what he's going to do. Fun fact, I'm actually in that shot in the movie. If you just look at the outside of the stadium and you see a younger Blake Harris walking by, that's me. Actual true story, when I was there visiting Pittsburgh, I am, in fact, in The Dark Knight Rises, but that's a story for another time. Yes. Yeah, I got no problem with that. Again, Bane did what he had to do. He had to abrupt the game. His reasons, I'm not exactly certain, but again, this is a guy where he's willing to put his differences aside with killing people to win ball games. And that's all I can ask for from my team. I mean, again, some of these guys are going to the Terminator. He wants to go out there and kill, but he is putting that aside because he wants to bring a championship, the first championship, to Blake's team. So again, some real top guys here putting these egos aside to help better my ball club.
What happens if somebody on the defensive side of the ball is kind of talking some trash to tight end Ron Wolfley, and he's too busy screaming, "Are you talking to me?" rather than to actually be, running his route or blocking his man?
That's the risk I'm willing to take. That's the risk I'm willing to take with "Are you talking to me?" 4-time Pro Bowler, host of Arizona Sports 98.7 FM in Phoenix, Arizona, Ron Wolfley. It's a risk. It's a gamble. But if you guys have seen the lone Ron Wolfley football highlight that is available on YouTube, you know that when that guy is coming at you full steam, there's nobody more fearful.
Well, you know what he says, Lyle. When they score a touchdown or they get an interception, right? He says, "Lickety jingle, there it is, David."
That's true.
So there's Blake's team. There it is. And I believe that officially wraps it up, boys. So Brady,
I'll say this pretty quickly: is the most common person we all had was Dash. Like he was on, I think, 3 of our rosters.
Mm-hmm. I believe so too.
He was the most common. Maybe the Flash. No, the Flash was only on 2. So. Yeah. So surprising, Dash Parr was on 3 people's rosters. I didn't think he would be the most common person.
So Brady just posted all of these on Twitter, so you guys can go vote for who you think has the best team, whose offense you trust the most, at the HH Show _. Brady, how long? Let's see.
I made it a week.
You made it for a week. Okay,
until next week.
Voting is open for the next week, so go over there at the HH Show _ Vote for who you think has the best overall offense. And then again, next week we will read the results. We will tell you guys who won, and then we will get to our fictional defenses in regards to that front. But very creative, guys.
I can tell you this. I already have my defense done. And it might be more unique than my offense.
I haven't started my defense yet, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So again, go over to Twitter at the HH Show _ vote for us. It's going to be a lot of fun. But guys, I think it's time now we open up our Q&A, our actual football Q&A, because last week we did a non-football Q&A. This time we're going back to a regular Q&A. So if any football, college football, NFL, any related questions whatsoever, hit us up over there in the live chats, and we're going to go over to our Twitter questions first. Again, if you follow us on Twitter, you hit us up over there. You guys get top priority for your questions. Our first one goes to our man Andrew Coster. He wants to know, when do you think we will see another big conference realignment in college football? I believe the last one was 2012, 2011, I want to say was the last realignment. So when do you guys think we might see the next? I believe it has a chance to happen once TV contracts are up. So I know, for example, I think like the Pac-12 network contract is up, I think, at the end of 2023 or 2024. So if that's being said, I think we could see some Pac-12 realigning once that contract's up again, 2023, 2024. So in regards to the Pac-12, because I know that's when their contract's up, I will go with that. In regards to any other conferences, your guess is as good as mine.
See, it's tough because if you think about it, when we had these big realignments, it was pretty much all the conferences doing it one after another, and you had 2 teams join the Pac-12. You had Nebraska and Maryland and Rutgers all join the Big Ten. The Big 12 got rearranged a little bit with Colorado leaving and Nebraska leaving, and then with the ACC, you had teams coming in and out. I think that was a little bit of a domino effect. I think it was just the 5 main Power 5 conferences kind of just switching teams around based off of those TV deals or trying to preserve rivalries and things like that. I just don't think we're going to see anything that drastic for a really long time. I think that if you go back and you watch some of our conference realignments that we did, there were a couple of instances where one of us would switch like one team or two teams in a conference. It didn't happen too often, but there were a couple times when we pretty much didn't really touch a whole lot and maybe switched around the divisions a little bit. I think that will happen for sure within the next couple of years in more than one conference. I just don't think it's realistic to think that we're going to see a huge conference overhaul like we did a couple of years ago. I think it would make sense to see a team like Houston join the Big 12, for example. But I just don't know if we're going to see a lot of turnover.
I mean, BYU is basically in the Pac-12 next year, right?
Yeah, I was going to say the Pac-13 next year, so you might as well have Boise State and make it the Pac-14 in a year or two.
And that's something that I think the whole COVID season kind of might be pushing us toward, is maybe a conference realignment. For example, I think we all are in agreement that Notre Dame's not going to join a football conference. But when you have a team like Notre Dame play a full ACC slate like they did last year, I think maybe that would open the door for more people to consider something like that. Maybe a team like Cincinnati thinking, what do we need to do to join a Power 5 conference to get more respect? BYU playing 5 or 6 Pac-12 games this year as opposed to 3 or 4 like they have in the past. Basically a part-time member this year. So I don't know. I don't think there's going to be too many changes, but I think maybe 1 or 2 could happen here or there in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think it would be more with certain teams than a huge overhaul like you guys were saying. I mean, you guys mentioned Boise State, Houston, Cincinnati. I think UCF can be thrown in there. BYU could be thrown in there. Like if UCF was going to join the ACC that would probably be the most likely, the ACC, for example. I think you could see it with certain teams, especially if teams like Cincinnati continue to play well. Maybe as the years go on, we'll see a couple teams move. But, yeah, I don't think there's going to be another whole realignment or huge overhaul like we saw, 8 to 10 years ago.
Right. All right, guys, next question. This comes from Almost Always Football Blog. Which college coach right now would you give a Fernando Tatis Jr. type deal? Not money-wise, but length of contract-wise. So I believe it was a 14-year deal. So if you had to give any coach in college football a 14-year extension to come to your team, who would it be?
I mean, I think the easy one is Saban. But
he'll be 83 when that contract is up.
That's why I wouldn't
He'll
pick
still be
Saban.
coaching.
Maybe Lincoln Riley. I think Lincoln Riley would be a good one.
I mean, that's what I was going to say too. Despite Saban's age, if you're trying to get somebody for the greatest bang for their buck out of that contract, it would still probably be Saban, because even if he retires in, 8 years, let's say, he'll still probably rack in another couple of national championships in that time. And honestly, if a coach wins 2 national championships in a 14-year contract, that's probably a success. So, I mean, no, it's not. It's definitely a success if you win 2 national titles in 14 years. So I would probably say Saban, but yeah, if you're going to stick on the younger side and the idea of this is a younger coach who could stay good for a long time, yeah, I would say Lincoln Riley, or I guess I'd like to see how Luke Fickell does with a Power 5 job first, but if somebody like him really has success in a Power 5 school, then that could be another one.
I'll say Dabo. He's 51 right now. That puts him at 65 years old, which is, not that old for a college coach. We've seen a lot of these guys get much older when they're coaching. So why not just give Dabo that 14-year or 13 or 14-year, whatever it was. So let's give it to Dabo Swinney. Puts him right at 65 years old or so.
Yeah, still the interesting question is just how long will Saban go? Because at this point, he literally has nothing to prove. So it's just a matter of how long does he enjoy doing this? I don't even think anyone else really knows. All right, guys, this is an organized pod. What college football player who plays or played one position full time? So, for example, Charles Woodson is ineligible since he played a decent amount of wide receiver snaps. Would you like to have seen play another position? For me, Cam Newton at wide receiver is my choice. So what player in college football history would you like to see play a different position?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
it's a really good question.
Here's I don't know. This was the first one that popped into my head. I don't think this is the best answer I could have given you, but it was the first one that popped into my head. Juju Smith-Schuster was recruited as a defensive back, and Adoree Jackson was recruited as a wide receiver. And they had both They both played both ways in high school, but they were primarily Adoree was a wide receiver and Juju was a defensive back, and they kind of switched in college. Like Juju didn't play any defense and Adoree kind of did both. I think seeing Juju at like cornerback or safety would be interesting.
I mean, I feel like the one people would give the answer for the most is Lamar Jackson, just to see what he'd do at running back or slot receiver. I don't really like to throw out that narrative because I think people kind of harp on it too much, or they especially harped on it too much when he was going into the draft, and they tried to say he couldn't make it at quarterback, and I always thought that was false, and clearly it is. But just for the sake of, would it be fun to see him at another position? Yeah, I think it would. And then if you're going to take a current player in college football, he didn't end up doing it this year, and part of it might have been because I think he might not have been 100% healthy all year, but they did say Derek Stingley was supposed to play some offense. Never really played any offense. So going into next year, I'd be interested to see if they put him in some offensive snaps.
You know, there's a guy who in the NFL currently played a little bit of offense, both in college and in the NFL. I would have loved to seen J.J. Watt on offense more. Yeah, I know he was recruited to Central Michigan as a tight end, played there for his freshman year, had like 8 catches. Yeah, he had 8 receptions for 77 yards his freshman year, and then obviously went to Wisconsin, moved to defense, and is now J.J. Watt. But I would have loved to see what he could do, you know, if he really stayed on the offensive side of the ball. Granted, he is a perennial Pro Bowler, all-pro defensive tackle now, but, you know, I would have loved to see JJ more on the offensive side of the ball.
I was thinking of Jadeveon Clowney, having him as like a wide receiver at tight end, because when he ran like his 40, wasn't it something like insane? Like I mean, I don't have it in front of me. I feel like he ran an insane 40, so he has some insane speed, and plus trying to tackle him once he gets going, I feel like would be insane. So Jadeveon Clowney, he would be my pick.
4.53.
Oh my gosh!
You know what? Let's give me DK Metcalf at linebacker.
Oh boy, at any position.
Any position. Isaiah Simmons is a wide receiver. You know, one of those guys.
All right, guys, we got.
Did you know Jadeveon Clowney is considered the #1 all-time recruit on 24/7 Sports?
Yep. I think I remember he had like a perfect rating.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, maybe this is another site, but there's a site that like has Trevor Lawrence at 2, Fields at 3, and then I think Vince Young is 1. Maybe that's Rivals.
It could be.
Okay, yeah, then 24/7.
It could be quarterbacks too, though.
I thought it was all time, but no, I definitely remember at least Clowney being like one of the highest recruits of all time.
Oh yeah,
so I think you might be right.
All right, guys, we got one more question over on Twitter. Then we're going to go to the questions in the live chat. This no name, it's just a period, but his ad is at RIP Mixer 2020. Not football related, but any advice on how to pull? I need some help.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
Pull what? Like a hammy?
You just run a lot. You can pull a hammy doing that. Run a bunch of sprints, and just like don't stretch.
Don't stretch. Don't drink any water before or after. You know, just go at it.
All right, guys. We'll head over to the YouTube comments right now. Thoughts on the J.J. Watt signing? I guess we'll go to the two guys who have to face J.J. Watt twice a year now. So, boys, what are your thoughts on J.J. Watt coming to your division?
There's no longer a concussed giraffe as my starting quarterback, so I'm fine with it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's a big time signing for them. I think they're actually going to be good this year. I thought they were going to be decent heading into this year, and I mean, 2 years with Cliff and things have just not gone well for them. And I think that's kind of funny. Yeah, no, I think that they actually have a pretty good defense, especially with Jones and Watt. Yeah, I think the division's really good now. Let's turn things over to Lyle because I'm at least more confident in now my starting quarterback and my offensive line than maybe Lyle is.
Hey man, his starting quarterback might be playing for the Saints in a few weeks. So
yeah,
his starting quarterback might be Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, that was that Nick Wright proposed trade or whatever.
Oh
yeah,
God. I think Lyle would just officially off every member of the Seahawks organization if they made Jimmy Garoppolo
better than the Mariners at the moment. I feel like
that's true.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I can't promise Russell's going to re-sign in 3 years, but I don't think he actually gets traded. I think this is his agent trying to make some noise to try to like push him to actually make some moves. Like a guy like Corey Linsley is currently a free agent, and Russell's currently on pace to be like the most sacked quarterback in the entire league. Ever. So they're kind of trying to push this a little bit. I think they're just trying to, force the Seahawks' hand a little bit. But yeah, anyway, about Watt. Look, obviously he's still good, but the truth on Watt is, he hasn't had back-to-back full seasons in like 7 or 8 years. And in the last 5 years, he's had one really elite season. I think he's still good, but like, how long does he stay on the field is my question. So yeah, obviously like it's not I thought it was a lot of money for a guy that's going to be 32 and his prime's probably behind him, but obviously their pass rush gets better with this. So yeah, they have a chance to be better. It's just, is Watt still healthy, and can Watt still play at a high level?
I will say this, Lyle, like you said, is his prime behind him? I'm guessing you all saw the stat that since 2012, JJ's second in sacks behind Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones is like 97, JJ is 95.5. So only a few differential there, but yeah, he might be a little past his prime, but like I said a few minutes ago, he's still going to be an elite guy that you have to game plan for. And that's going to be that way until he shows you he's not. So yeah, he's had the injuries. I think him to the Cardinals was, when I say so under the radar, that he kept it to himself the entire time. Like no one was saying the Cardinals was going to happen. I don't know if you guys saw the story today that, they asked him like, why or how'd you decide to announce it? He had his brother's high school's friend order a few teams' shirts shipped to his house, and then his brother's high school's friend brought the shirts to JJ's house. Like that's how on the download they kept the signing. So I
couldn't you have just gone to Amazon and just order all the shirts and just
but then it says JJ Watt's ordering all these shirts, then it gets out. So that's why he said he had his friend do it. So there was no trace back to him. So I think this is a really good spot for him. I think Arizona sports are definitely on the up and up. We see what the Suns are doing. You've seen what they they got Chris Paul with Devin Booker, and now reunited JJ and
if only Big J would have made that bet with me this year, not last year, that he still claims we never shook on, which we did.
But I really do like the signing. I think it's a good spot for JJ. I think it's I would say a polar opposite front office than what the Texans were. The Cardinals have one of the most professional and consistent front offices. So I would say it's a good signing for JJ. 30 mil for a few years isn't a bad either.
Can we talk about for a second? And it's kind of relevant because somebody had a question in the comments, like thoughts on the Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson trade rumors, and I touched on Russell for a second. Can we talk about that when Deshaun eventually does get traded, which he will, otherwise he's going to sit out? Literally, who's going to be on that team? That Texans team is destined to go 0-16.
David Johnson. He re-signed today.
Yeah, for $6 million, which nice job, Texans. You have absolutely no talent on either side of the ball at this point, and your first move is to repay David Johnson. So
Will Fuller, Kiki QT.
Fuller's a free agent.
He's a free agent.
To deal with them, yeah.
So Fuller's a free agent. Watson's going to be gone. Watt's now gone. Obviously, Hopkins is gone. Who's on that team?
Remember when they had Honey Badger too?
Yeah, they did. That was
they're just all flocking to Arizona.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
it's bad.
Texans, like I said, no, it doesn't have to be Russell. Deshaun, come to NOLA. Deshaun, we can use you.
One more quick thing on Russell is the only thing, the only place would make sense for him to go if he were going to get traded, was the Saints. Because if that list is true, why would he want to go to the Bears? How are the Bears better? The Saints.
I think it was the Bears, the Raiders.
The Cowboys, the Cowboys who said they're focused on re-signing Dak, so that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, or the Raiders or the Bears. So yeah,
who knows? All right, guys.
Good point. The Texans do have a good kicker.
True.
Yeah, Kai Junior wants to know if ASU 2020 played against Bama 2020 and LSU from 2019. What game will be close? All right, guys. So who does ASU lose by less to? 2020 Bama or 2019 LSU? I'll just say that knowing ASU, they're somehow going to keep it closer against LSU 2019 somehow, and then the Bama one will give more of a blow, just because that's how ASU is. That's
knowing ASU, they'll probably figure out a way to beat one of these teams, and then a week later lose to currently winless Colorado.
Yeah,
it'd be very ASU.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say maybe 2019 LSU. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 2019 LSU too.
Well, it depends. Is ASU going to run the ball? Because if they don't, they'll probably lose for sure. It's a for sure scheme.
Well, true. I mean, against Bama 2020, ASU could try to do what Notre Dame did, where they basically try to like kill a lot of clock and run the ball a bunch and keep it out of their hands. But
yeah,
I mean, at least, so Bama scored 31 in that one, but LSU, I mean, you can blink and those guys would score.
Right.
So.
All right, guys. Finger Shredder, do you think Tim Tebow should come out of retirement to go to the Jags because of Urban Meyer? Because Tim quit baseball and Tim Tebow is good friends with Steve.
If anything, he goes to be a coach, not a chance he plays.
No, he comes back. He comes back.
I was so ready for him to play for the Syracuse Mets this year.
God. All right, guys. Flynn Ryan, what do you guys think of Arizona's football? Arizona's football. There you go. What do you think about their new coaching staff?
Here's where I'm going to go with this.
Bruce,
I'm going to compare the Wildcats to the Arizona Cardinals. So the Rams hire Sean McVay, and they have a lot of immediate success, and it's for a lot of different reasons, just the type of person and the coach that he is, and the weird like eidetic memory that McVay has, and whatever. And the Rams are immediately, let's say, relatively successful with Sean McVay. The Cardinals then try to replicate that success with a failed college football coach, Cliff Kingsbury, who's like the same age. Heck, they even look kind of vaguely similar. They both run like up-tempo offenses, and it just doesn't happen. And basically the reason why is because you can't just take a similar coach and think that you're just going to have the exact same success. I think what Arizona is doing, this is just me being totally honest with you guys, I think they're trying to replicate what Arizona State has done, where they took a big-time personality like Herm Edwards, who knows a lot of people, who has a lot of connections, and is now bringing NFL-caliber coaching, whether it be former players, former coaches, whatever that might be. He's bringing all of that to the college level in the Pac-12 at Arizona State. I think that's what Jed Fish is doing at Arizona. I think that he knows a lot of people. I think he has a lot of connections. I think he's bringing in a lot of former NFL talent to be his coaching staff. I think it's actually going to work out pretty well for Arizona. The bottom line is, he's piecing together this coaching staff when they have the longest losing streak in the Pac-12, and it's like 2 years, because obviously this was a shortened season, but whatever, it's like 11 games or something like that. They're getting absolutely blown out in recruiting, not just by the top teams in the Pac-12 like USC and Oregon. They're getting blown out in state by Arizona State. So I think that there's a lot of work to be done. But I think that Arizona is actually doing a pretty decent job of trying to make up for lost time and make up lost ground. So I think that that's working out better at the college level than it is maybe for the Cardinals in the NFL. And they're not super comparable, but they were trying. I think that both of those teams were trying to mirror what one of their rivals did. But for U of A, I actually think it has a really good chance of working out.
I'll jump in here really quickly. Is there are, when you said it's like, oh, it's pretty similar, there are quite literally like identical similarities. It's like, oh, Arizona State, hey, let's go get Super Bowl champion linebacker Antonio Pierce. All right, U of A, let's go get Super Bowl champion linebacker Teddy Bruschi as damn near the same position. Yep. Linebackers, defensive coordinator-ish, recruiting guys. It's almost identical. The one thing, though, that I will say is already U of A is doing a better job bringing back the past. And when I say that, I mean Teddy Bruschi played for them. He was great there. He's in their Ring of Honor or whatever they call it there at U of A. Their spring game that they're going to be having whenever it may be. Rob Gronkowski is coming back to campus for the first time in 10 years. So I don't know why he hasn't been back, but something that U of A is doing now is repairing relationships with former players, because maybe they see it as an up and up. They see it as, hey, this is a turnaround. So Gronk's going to be one of the head coaches for the spring game against Teddy Bruschi, who's going to be their head coach for the spring game. Yeah, their actual head coach will be there, but those two guys are going to be coaching their spring game. So I think it's easier to do and replicate systems in college than it is the NFL. So you can get similar guys, you can get similar recruiting pitches, whereas the NFL that's the top of the top. And if you can't really duplicate it with, like what Josh said, a failed college football coach. Yeah, he had Patrick Mahomes, but what did he do in college? Really nothing. So I think it's a good model. I think when Herm came back to college, into the college coaching ranks, I think that sort of flipped a switch for a lot of people to focus a lot on recruiting. Yeah, everyone recruits, but focus a lot on recruiting and get to those battleground states and get to those territories where, yeah, this is a rival area. So for ASU, they're recruiting the hell out of Los Angeles and Southern California. So I think U of A is going to start getting in that territory. I think it gives them a year or two, but I think they have a good system in place to get it going.
They also tried to bring back Antonio Pierce too.
They did. Yeah. And then ASU said, "You're now our only defensive coordinator, and here's more money." And he said, "Thank you."
Yeah, you do gotta love it. All right, guys, we got time for a few more, so we're gonna rapid fire these bad boys. Before we do that, we got Steven Smith coming in with the super chat donation saying, "If you're taking the best offense in reality, I would say 2017 Oklahoma's offense was the best offense in the decade, with 2019 LSU not far behind." I mean, that 2017 Oklahoma, that was the one where they lost in overtime to Georgia in the Rose Bowl, right? Is that the 2017 Oklahoma team?
Yeah, and to be fair, that offense was loaded. Not just Baker, but it was Rodney Anderson, CD, Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, like Orlando Brown. That was a loaded offense. I would probably still take LSU, but no, like 2017 Oklahoma, that's a good call.
Yeah, I like that one. All right, guys, we got a lot of questions coming your way, so let's get this underway. A lot of them come from the same guys, so it's actually going to make things a lot easier. Is Mississippi State a top 15 team next year?
No.
No, it's hard to imagine they would be.
No.
Yeah, the answer is no. Will the Broncos make the playoffs next year?
Depends on who their quarterback is.
The Denver Broncos, just to make sure we're clear.
I assume the Denver Broncos. Yes.
Okay, I mean, if they trade for Deshaun Watson, which is one of his possible destinations, then
Maybe.
yeah. But yeah. Otherwise, no.
Depends on who the quarterback is.
Yeah, if it's Drew Lock, no. Will the Cardinals make the playoffs?
Yes. They were a game away this last year. I say yes, they do this year.
I'm going to say yes, but I don't know what other NFC team I'm then taking out of a playoff spot this year. Because I think the Rams are in with Stafford, and for me, it kind of depends on what happens up in Seattle.
I mean, I've said one of these years that 3, heck, maybe 4 teams in the NFC West could get into the playoffs now that it's expanded. I mean, San Francisco is probably going to get better next year. So, yeah, I mean, it's possible. Again, is Watt going to be healthy? That's the question.
Yeah. Will Alabama go back-to-back next year?
No. Yeah, no.
All right, so who overthrows them?
Clemson. I think Clemson gets it done.
With DJ? Yeah, I can see it.
I could see Clemson. I
Yeah.
could see Arizona State.
Oklahoma's getting a lot of love, but I don't know.
I mean, look, Bama's obviously losing a lot, but the thing with Bama is we know it's
easily replaceable.
It's just a factory. They're gonna bring in new guys that just go off, and yeah. So I'll say no. Just that's the boring answer, but for now, I'm gonna say no.
All right, guys. Benjamin, will Aaron Rodgers make the Super Bowl next year?
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes. Oh yeah, I'll say yes for now. Ask me again in 6 months.
If Aaron Jones resigns, yes.
All right, guys, I got time for one more question before we go to short round to close it out. Why are Mormons so good at football?
Why are Samoans good at football? Why are Samoas the second best Girl Scout cookie? Who knows?
Oh,
Josh?
Well, I think I unplugged my light. Yeah, that's what I did. Excuse me.
What's the first best Girl Scout cookie? I feel like
Mints.
Samoa's our number
Thin
one.
Mints.
Thin Mints, Lyle. Come on.
I would probably
We're telling scary stories.
I would probably take Samoa's over Thin Mints, but why are Mormons so good at football? I don't know. I mean, I don't have an answer for you on that one.
You know, it's just the power of Joseph Smith.
Because they practice hard and they eat healthy and they believe they can be good at football.
All right, one more quick one before we get to short round. Big Orange Network. Will Tom Brady win another Super Bowl?
I think Jesus, that is so loud.
He somehow will.
I think the easy answer is no, which is why it's probably yes.
Yeah, he'll win one. He'll somehow pull one. My God. All right, guys. I don't know what's going on. Time to go to a short round.
With Thin Mint.
Frozen Thin Mint. Boy out. What's a specific athletic talent you would want to have? Being 5'7" on a good day, I want Zion's hops. so I can show it to a pickup game and just surprise dunk on someone.
That's a really good one, actually.
We need to get Short Round actually on the show one of these days.
I'll tell you what mine is right off the bat, and I've always had a dream about this. Well, first off, I've always wanted to catch a home run from the opposing team because I still claim that I could get that ball back to the infield if I'm throwing it in. I'm not saying I can get it on the fly. I know I can maybe one or two hop it because I had a cannon, guys. I've been seen on video. I don't know where the video is of me throwing it at least 200 plus feet. At least 200 plus feet. So if 400 yards to left center, I catch that. If I can throw it 200 plus feet, I think the infield is about. I mean, I think home to second base is 180 feet if I'm not mistaken. So there's a chance I can get it. I want the greatest arm of all time, so I can do what happens in Rookie of the Year when Henry Rowengartner throws it from the outfield to the catcher on the fly. Just kind of like a few years ago, what was it? Someone on the Green Monster. They threw one like a one or two hopper to the catcher. I want to be in the outfield, and I want to get it into Will Smith at catcher on the fly. And everyone goes, holy hell, did that guy just throw it 400 yards, 400 feet on the fly? So that's what mine would be.
I think it would be really fun to just be like a really skilled skater and then just go out and just like dance through people on the ice, like with a hockey stick. I think that'd be cool. I also think it'd be cool to just be like insane at dribbling a basketball or a soccer ball. And then just like step out to play pickup with either on a soccer field or like on a basketball court and just dribble past everybody. But I don't know. I think the dunk one is really good, just to be short and then just have the hops to just ball people up and then dunk on people. I think that it's the surprise factor for me.
I'm either going to go with Giancarlo Stanton's power or Devontae Adams' route running. I mean, like to hit a ball out of the stadium would be nuts, but also like Adams' route running is like straight up a cheat code. Like it's like nobody ever defends it. So it would be one of those two for me.
I'm going to go with either Bryson DeChambeau's long drive, just crush the hell out of a golf ball, or Phil Mickelson's short game. I'm going to go golf because you guys all went, over the top athletic ones. But, I'm going to go with like either Bryson's long drive or the short game from Phil. He's got an elite short game there on the golf course.
No, I actually like that. I was talking to somebody yesterday, but I just said, I wish I was just like really good at golf or like had any interest in being good at golf. I don't golf, not a golfer. I wish that I was a good golfer.
It's so hard to be good at.
Yeah. I just wish I was good enough to be able to like hang in a game.
Like I want to be a scratch golfer. Like that's what I want. Like make me a par golfer.
Yeah, I just want to be good enough where if I, for whatever reason, there's like a business opportunity that happens.
Exactly.
Like, because apparently my dad's told me that like once, like, back in the good old days, I think there was like some business meeting or something where they went out and they were golfing and he was just awful compared to everyone else. And it's just like, it's just one of those embarrassing things where if everyone's pretty decent at golf and you're awful, it's just humiliating. So I do want to get into golf just for that sole reason, if need be.
Well, I'll play mini golf.
Big golf guy.
Yeah.
Settle some business deals on a putt-putt course. Yes.
Short round said in regards to the Mormon question, no, for real, the Mormons are good because they go on their mission and come back 2 years older. So you have 22-year-old sophomores playing against 19-year-olds.
That's a good point.
Which is the reason those Mormons know how to get you. Well, that wraps up this week's show. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at the HHShow_. That way you can go vote in the latest poll. Guys, let me go take a look at the poll right now, see how it's looking right now so we can see who's currently running the tables in first place. As of right now, it is
Blake.
Look at that. Now, my thing says Josh and I are tied at 29.3%. Lyle has 24.4%, and Brady has 17.1%.
Like I said, I went with the humor factor for mine.
Well, fans apparently don't care about humor. They want to win ball games. So it looks like it's going to be a 3-horse race between Josh, Lyle, and I. So again, if you haven't done that already, make sure to go vote at the HHShow_. And again, next week we're going to be doing this, but for defense. So if you like this with our offensive players, I'm sure you're going to love it for our defensive players. Brady said he's already done his. His is fantastic. So nice little plug there, guys. Any parting words before we head out for the week?
Danny Phantom is unguardable. Literally.
Blake is an elite right guard.
I am.
Lyle, what would you like to say?
I'm usually not a big run the football guy, but hey, give Thanos the rock.
As Short Round says, burner accounts assemble.
I like it. So again, next week we're doing the defensive players. And the week after that, we are going to be doing our March Madness brackets live on the show. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We'll have a group up whenever that comes out. So yeah, 2 weeks from Sunday, those 2 days ago. So make sure for that. Give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment down below. Again, follow the show on Twitter at the HHShow_. Follow us on Instagram at Harris Highlight Show. You can hit us up on patreon.com/the Harris Highlight Show. I think we're going to be going live with all of our Patreon supporters next week for a 30-minute Zoom call. Might have to figure out the times and dates and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to talk with us on a Zoom, you guys can get on that for as little as $1 a month. That's a whole lot of fun. But yeah, guys, this was a good time for Josh Schaefer, Brady Klein, or Lyle Goldstein. Brady, you're like, wait, is there something you're saying? Or you're just pointing?
I was gonna say something like, oh, yo, what if we make like a Harris Highlights NFT and sell it for like $2 million? Do you think that's a good idea?
Ooh.
Should we
Should we get
into the NFT game? I think we should.
I think someone will buy it. All right,
Yeah,
for Josh Schaefer, Lyle Goldstein, Brady Klein, this has been Blake Harris from the Chateau in beautiful Monrovia, California. And I guess no somersault from Josh this week, so I guess I'll end the show.
I got a nice quarter zip on today, which apparently they said is a half zip. But like, I'm sorry, this like looks like a quarter zip.
That's quarter zip. Trust me, Josh. I'm a quarter zip aficionado.
I know you are, and I'm in the quarter zips too. I mean, I only have like, I don't know, maybe 12, and you probably have 36. But like,
at least
I feel like I'm a quarter zip guy too, and this ain't no half zip.
Well, I think there's one way we can end the show. It'll be in honor of Lyle's trying to running back Thanos. And we're going to see you guys right back here again next Tuesday night.